So this video will be about the time I acted in a haunted house, and the reason why I picked this video is because, well, we were at a haunted house in my last one, so I might as well talk about a time when I was in one, and it was a lot of fun. I will tell you that. It was worth volunteering for. And it actually pays off, well, when you actually do scare somebody. So when I acted in a haunted house, it was about 6 years ago actually already. It was in 2015, I was 18 at that time, and I wanted to do more acting gigs. So I saw that Scare Hawaii was hiring for actors for a haunted house. I got to take a look at the place before I officially was signed up with them. And yeah, it already made me feel uneasy just looking around at the haunted house. They already were set up in a creepy way. They gave me a little tour. I remember walking in, there's this whole room full of eyes, like a hallway full of eyes looking at you. And then you go into the kitchen where there's butchered up, stuff that I can't say here on YouTube. And then you have this girl acting as if she's chained up and saying, "Save me, save me." For some reason they put a clown after you leave the kitchen. I don't know why they put this giant clown statue there. But then after you leave the kitchen, you go into this hallway area where there's a dummy there that looks like a knife trick gone wrong. But then there's also a girl in a cage, and that's what I ended up playing. I was playing a girl in a cage. I would either be like, "Save me," or I would climb out of the cage and go up to the guests. So that was the room that I was in. And there was a forest, I think, afterward once you continue going down the hallway, but you gotta tell the visitors that they're going the wrong way, and we did have to tell them that they were going the wrong way, I remember. I'll get to that in a bit. And then after they loop around the forest where there's all these other characters, they go into this dark hallway, and then they go into the hell room. Looks very demonic, and it's red too, red and fiery, and somebody does play a demon in that one. And then you go through this hallway with a bunch of mannequins in it, and then you go into a nursery where there's a bunch of creepy looking children, and they actually do have a robot that makes a reference to The Exorcist. And then right next to the children's room, you go into the clown room. It really does get creepy, and I just realized I'm not wearing my earrings. Hold on a bit. I like my earrings a lot, people. Sorry, I like my earrings a lot. Yeah, and then you exit. But yeah, I remember I got to take a look around before I was officially signed with them, and the lady, she was really nice. The lady was really nice. So where was this haunted house located? It was located in Pearl Ridge in Aiea, where Sizzlers used to be. But that building is no longer abandoned. It's now been taken place by a bank. But yeah, before that building used to be a Sizzlers, and then all of the Sizzlers all over the island, as far as I know, all got shut down, and this location became an abandoned building, so it was being used for a haunted house. I actually got to meet the cast before we officially started acting in October. We had to do fire drills and take a look around. We actually used the hell room as the meeting room. And there actually was a photo we took together that is actually on my Instagram if you scroll all the way back to 2015. Turns out I'm actually not the youngest one that was acting that year, but there were other people too that were a little younger than me that were also acting in it. They were still in high school. I was freshly out of high school and starting college at that time. And we all knew our roles. We all got to practice what we could do, and it was very easy acting. We all got to practice what we do in the haunted house as the characters. We got to do a run with the lights off. Yeah. So we actually didn't open until October started, and I was only acting on Fridays and Saturdays because I have family stuff and school that were conflicting, so I only had Fridays and Saturdays open. And in the first 2 days, the Friday and the Saturday was actually a lot of fun, you know. I got to, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work, but yeah, I got to, there were groups that actually really were scared that went through, and then there were groups that were just like, eh. I remember this one group that went there was a group of guys. They were acting all tough, like they were trying to help me, quote, in my cage, and one of the guys said no, and they just started talking about the dummy. Sorry. And they started talking about the dummy in the room with me. Of course, she's not a real person. But like, as for like the groups of kids that were like really scared, like I remember there's this one group, I think they were all middle schoolers. They were like lined up in a train line and they're like screaming really loudly. And I remember I like got out of my cage one time to scare them, and they all like were screaming and tried to run to the next room, but my friend who was dressed up as an ape scared them and they ran backwards into the room where I was. I remember even one girl was like lying on the floor, not lying on the floor, but just sitting there, and she was begging me like, please don't, please don't. To be honest, I actually did manage to scare Nick when he came into the haunted house. Nick, my boyfriend, if you don't know, he went in, that group that he was with weren't his friends, but they were scared and they needed a guy to go with him, yet they didn't know that he was taken already. But yeah, I went out of my cage and walked right up to him, and then he took a close look at me like, wait a minute, oh, it's Meg. And the girls that were in the group with him were like, oh, your teeth are so white, do you use Crest 3D white strips? I mean, the answer is yes, but there's no way I was gonna tell them that, especially if in character. I can't break character, you know? But yeah, they moved on to the next room. But as for most of October though, I was out for 2 weeks because I was sick, and I was telling one of the guys who was in charge of the thing that I couldn't make it, and he's like, oh, everybody's missing you. But eventually I got better and I was able to go back and act in it, especially on the last weekend of October that year. So it was the day before Halloween and the place really did change a lot, and they did a lot more with my haunted house makeup, making me even look more creepy. Like, yeah, there was just a lot more features that made me look like Carrie, from my favorite horror film, Carrie. But yeah, the place really changed. Like, the table that I was sitting on in my cage had collapsed, and the cage got taken down and replaced with a curtain. So instead, I had to change things up by like hiding behind a wall and like jump scaring people, surprising them from behind the wall, along with my friend who was dressed as a gorilla, and then scare them again by popping out of the door when they get through the hallway after they get past the forest. Yeah, there was a lot more people this time. I know that you shouldn't always assume that high-pitched screamers are girls. That's what I learned from this experience, because I actually did think that a group of high-pitched screamers were a bunch of girls, but they were guys. They were guys, and they were really loud. Like, my ears were hurting, like, hearing them scream. And there was another guy who was not screaming with them. He was just laughing at them, saying, you guys scream like a bunch of girls. And then I actually saw them in the next room again, and yeah, they were screaming just as loud. And then I remember there was this little boy who I did not want to scare. When I was there, he was like crying and saying, I don't want to be here. He was like this little boy, like about 7 years old. Not even old enough to go into the haunted house because, you know, the recommended age is 13. But he's like walking in the haunted house and he's crying, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. And his mom is saying, oh, you're so brave, let's go. And all I did was just pop out of the curtain and go, boo, because I didn't want to scare him. Like, I really didn't want to make him even more scared. I would feel bad. And I remember there was also this young guy that came into the haunted house. He was kind of cute, really, I'm gonna be honest with that. But he was like really scared, like no time to flirt, like he was just super scared of the place. It looked like he was with his dad and his sister. The dad looked like he wasn't scared at all, but the sister, she looked like she was just as scared as him. So when I popped out of the curtain, they're like, oh, whoa, get out of here. And then they went through the forest, and when I saw him again when I came out from behind the wall or behind the door, I whispered, "You're cute," to him in that voice, and he looked at me like, what? And then the next day was Halloween. If you don't remember, Halloween in 2015 was a Saturday. So after I got off work, I went straight there. Actually, I stopped by home first to get my belongings, and then I went straight there, and they did my makeup again, and just as messy as the night before, and it was much more crowded, much more people. Yeah, there was a lot more people like coming in. And this was actually the night when we had to tell people to go the correct way. Like, after they would get past the room where I jumped out from behind the wall, they would turn directly towards like the hallway that leads you to the exit. But so we would have to be like, wrong way at them. We had to scream, wrong way at them. Even the guy who was dressed like a gorilla had to say that. And one of the guests would be like, I swear that gorilla just spoke to me. But actually in one group though, saying wrong way didn't work. They just didn't listen and continued. Oh well. I'm gonna be honest though, and every time I acted in this, by the 11 o'clock hour, because it was open until midnight, by the 11 o'clock hour I was like already tired. Like I only had enough energy to like just jump out from behind the curtain and startle people. Yeah. Gonna be honest though, it wasn't always fun and games. There was actually, on the same Halloween night, one of our clowns almost got, or was gonna get punched by one of our guests, and we had to like pause the show for a little bit, and our directors had to come out of nowhere and be like, all right, what did you do? What did you do? And they had to like, everybody actually came out from behind, and we had to break character and see what was going on. Even the other people who were not involved with the situation saw us break character. Yeah, it was a little embarrassing that we broke character, but safety first, especially for our performers, you know? You gotta understand, even though haunted house actors will not put their hands on you, you can't put their hands on them as well. But anyway, that is the end of the story time. Thank you for coming to my story time, and thank you for watching my video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't. I'm very new to this channel, so make sure I have a very new channel here, and I'm trying to grow this channel a little more. Have a happy Halloween, and I'll see you later on this month for the night of Halloween. Bye!